Today we're going to talk about metric conversions. With the imperial system, we will have different base units than you will have with the metric system. The imperial system, you might measure length in something like inches or feet. You might measure volume in ounces, and mass might be in pounds. But with the metric system, we use different base units. With the metric system, to measure length, we are going to use meters. To measure volume, we would use liters. And to measure weight or mass, it would be grams. These would be our base units of measurement for length, volume, and mass in the metric system. In the metric system, we are also going to be able to multiply to make larger numbers and smaller numbers, and we multiply those by powers of 10. So we can multiply by powers of 10 to go up and make much bigger numbers, or we can use our submultipliers by negative powers, and they will make much, much smaller numbers. So for example, if we had 1 meter and we wanted to make it much, much larger, we could look at a kilometer. We would put kilo as our prefix that would go in front of our base unit of meter, and 1 kilometer is the same as our 1 meter times 10 to the third power. So 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. And it would be the same if we took this and we brought it down to millimeters. Our millimeters, we would have 1,000 millimeters for every meter. So we would take again our root words of our base units, and then we attach these prefixes. So there's different prefixes. We can start at the top of this chart with giga at 10 to the power of 9, mega, kilo, hecto, deca, and we're back at our base units. And then we can go less than a full number, deci, centi, milli, micro, or nano. Most of these will have the abbreviation of just the first part of the prefix in front of your root word. Say for millimeters, you might see it written like this. For micrometers, though, micro has its own special prefix symbol. Kind of looks like a U with a tail on it. That's the micro prefix right there. So if you see that now, you know what that means. So how can we remember these prefixes? We've got a handy mnemonic. It starts at mega, and mega starts with an M, so our mnemonic says many kings hate dragons because puts us back at base level, because dragons can't make money, and now we're down at the micro. So with this mnemonic, we can remember 10 to the power of 6 at mega, all the way down to micro at 10 to the power of negative 6 on this end. If we can remember many kings hate dragons because dragons can't make money. So one thing when we are trying to convert numbers using the metric system is to figure out which way we are going. Are we taking a large number, a big number, and going into a smaller number? Or are we trying to convert a small number into a big number? So say if we were going to take a big number, let's say grams. We remember meters or grams or liters are our base unit. If we were trying to convert a gram into a milligram, milligrams are smaller than the base unit, so we would be going from big to small. If we move from big to small, we're going to move the decimal place, and it is going to move to the right if we are moving from big to small. If we are doing the opposite, if maybe we are going from micros up to a bigger number, if we are going from small to big, it's just the opposite. We're going to take that decimal place and we are going to move to the left. Now, how many places we move to the left depends on the problem that you have to work with. So let's try a practice problem. We have 2 centimeters and we want to know what is the equivalent of 2 centimeters in meters. So let's write this out. We have 2, and we're going to place our decimal place right here after the whole number, and we're going to put a 0 right here. So this is 2 centimeters. Let's find centimeters on our chart. Here is centimeters, and we can see that they are at 10 to the power of negative 2. Now where are we going? Are we going to make a bigger number or are we looking to make a smaller number? We are looking to make meters, and we remember meters are our base units, so we're going to go up. Base units are the number, they are what they are, so they are to the power of 0. So now we're going to take the difference. If we're going from centimeters to meters, let's see what the difference of power is. So we have a -2 here. We're going to subtract off 0. Anytime we subtract 0, it's just the number itself. So -2 minus 0 is still going to be a difference of 2 places. And since we are going from the smaller number to a bigger number, we have a negative change. We are going to move to the left. So let's take that and move it in action. Here's our decimal place. Let's take it and move it 1, 2 places. That is where our new decimal place is going to go. So let's write it down. Here's our decimal place. We'll put a 0 in front of our decimal, and then we're going to fill in with another 0, and here is our number 2, just like before. So there's our answer. We went from centimeters to meters. The difference in power is 2. When we subtracted it, we figured out that it was 2 places that we needed to move our decimal place. Since we were going from a smaller number to a bigger number, we moved that decimal place to the left 2 places. So our final answer is 2 centimeters equals 0.02 meters. Let's try another problem. All right, so we have 70. Let's write it down, 70 micrometers. So let's find our micro. Remember, it's that weird symbol down here. So here's the micro. We're at a power of -6, 10 to the -6, and we want to go from micros to centis, from micrometers to centimeters. So here is where we're going to next. So we're going to take that and subtract the difference. We have a -6, and we want to subtract a -2. But we all remember a negative and a negative is going to equal a positive. So if we have a -6 and we add 2 to it, we end up with 4, a -4 difference. So that's how many places we're going to move the decimal this time. We're going in a negative direction. We're going from a smaller number to a bigger number. If we move from small to big, remember we're going to move this way to the left. So let's move that decimal. Here he is. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 places is going to be where the new decimal place is. So our new number is going to be 0.007 centimeters. So 70 micrometers is going to be 0.007 centimeters. Let's try another one. 10 grams to milligrams. How many grams is 10 grams if we're looking for milligrams? So let's write this out just like the last one. 10 grams. There's our decimal place. And how many milligrams? So let's find our base unit of grams, and then we're going to go to milligrams down here at a -3. So if this is our 0 power, we're going to have 0, and we're going to subtract the -3. So our 0 plus 3 is going to give us 3. That's how many places we're going to move it. But since we're going from a big number to a small, we're going to move the decimal in the opposite direction. We're going to move to the right because we have a positive difference here. It's a +3 instead of a -3 like last time. So our +3 is going to move our decimal place 1, 2, 3 places this way. So we are going to have 1, 2, 3 places to move that decimal. So 10 grams is the same as 10,000 milligrams. Here's another one. 3 centimeters to millimeters. How many millimeters are in 3 centimeters. So centi is -2 and milli is -3. So -2 minus minus are 3. -2 plus 3 is going to give us 1 plus 1. So when we write this out, 3 centimeters, we're going to just move that this way. And we remember we're moving to the right because we are going from a bigger number for centimeters down to a smaller number, that's millimeters. So we move it 1 to the right, and our 3 centimeters are going to equal 30 millimeters. Now let's try this next one. It's going to be a little bit harder, but we can do this. So we have 10 kilometers, and we want to know what that is in millimeters. So we're going to use the exact same process. We're going to find our kilometers, and that is up here. Here's the kilo. It's 10 to the power of 3. And we are going to go all the way down to millis down here for millimeters, and that's a -3. So let's take our difference, just like we've been doing in the past. Here's your 3, and we're going to subtract our -3. So we're going to have 3 plus 3. That gives us 6 places to move our decimal place. And it's a positive number. We're going from a big to a small number. We are going to move the decimal place 6 places, and we're going to move them to the right. So let's write our number down, 10 kilometers, and we're going to move it 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. That's going to be where our new decimal place will be. So we will have 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the home of our new decimal place. So 10 kilometers is the same as the equivalent of 10 million millimeters. So hopefully with these examples here, it gives you a little bit more confidence on how the metric system works and how you can convert from all of the different prefixes along the way. You got this. Go out and conquer.